My dear friends, the reason why I chose this topic of culture and religion is because, first of all, the theme of today's meeting is tradition, is culture. And many a times, what we have done as a society is we have interchangeably used religion and culture every time. But what is culture? Culture is a set of values, a set of beliefs that have been transferred from one generation to another generation. And especially in a country where I am from, India, it has been transferred for thousands of years. And it's a way of life. It's something that people follow. It's culture. We see that India is a country that is rich in cultures because we've been conquered by Greeks, by Afghans, by Mongols, by people from different parts of the globe. And then in the recent history, in the recent past, by Great Britain. And so we have the culmination of all of these cultures being assimilated in our society, as well as the culture and the traditions that we have learned thousands of years ago during the time of the Harappan civilization, during the time of the Aryans. And we unfortunately confuse all of this culture with religion because even religion is as old as culture. Even religion has existed for thousands of years. Be it Christianity, be it Judaism, be it Buddhism, be it Hinduism, be it Islam, they all are over 1,000 years old. And all of these religions, they say that their beliefs, their principles are a way of life, are a way that a human being is supposed to behave. And as a result of which, we always confuse culture and religion to the extent that we endanger ourselves or we endanger our societies. I know this is a controversial topic, but I wanted to bring light to this topic because this is something that has impacted me. And I want to make sure that by shedding light on this topic, would invite you to think about it and to dig deep into your own self because you have your own culture and you have your own religion if you have a religion, and try to differentiate between culture and religion that you guys follow and that you have been inculcated by the society, by the different traditions in the different eras that you have lived, thanks to your parents and thanks to your ancestors. And I can give you examples, especially in my own country, of how people confuse culture and religion. For instance, we have this age-old tradition, especially in the state of Karnataka, which is a southern state in India, where people go to temples and they pray to God because they do not have babies for years, and then finally God blesses them with a baby. And the way they thank God is by throwing the baby from a 50-foot temple from the roof. They throw the baby down. And luckily, that baby gets caught by a swaddle of clothes by people, and the baby is saved. But sometimes tragedy happens. And the reason why they throw the baby is to appease the gods, it's as a way to thank gods. We have traditions where in another state in India, which is Tamil Nadu, which is another southern state in India, people use coconuts and they break it on people's head in the temple because as a way of thanking God, because they think, thanks to culture, they think that this is going to bless the human being. Now, obviously, this is not there in the Bhagavad Gita, but this is something that people believe as part of religion, because if they don't do it, it's like offending God, it's like offending families, like offending culture. Now, also in the religion of Islam, we have a particular sect called Shia, the Shiites. And these guys, they put a huge onus on the grandson of Prophet Muhammad. And he died. In fact, he had two grandsons from one of his daughters, and both of them died as martyrs in one of the religious wars that happened over 1,000 years ago. And in a way to basically empathize or to sympathize with the tragedies that had happened thousands of years ago with these grandsons, people shed blood. I remember seeing, when I was a child, a street in India filled with a river of blood because people mourn the deaths of these two grandsons of the prophet. And the way they mourn is they basically hit themselves with chains, with metallic chains, and sometimes even they scratch their bodies with swords and sharp objects. And it's a very gory thing to watch, but it's not there in the Quran, but it's something that people think they need to do just because their forefathers, their ancestors have been doing for generations. And they feel that they're obligated to do this thing because they think that this is part of the religion. I can give you my own example. People think in America and in the world over that arranged marriages have such a huge success rate. It's almost 95 to 100%. It's around 95%. It's a very high number as compared to love marriages. But the truth is different. Like, for example, if you just consider my own marriage, and I remember that I had this firm belief in this tradition that was being followed, that I think that this was what God wanted. And I so much believed that if I don't do it, God is going to curse me, and that my mom is going to curse me because I felt indebted to my mom. I felt indebted to the tradition. I felt indebted to the society that I'm supposed to be married in so and so way. And I had such a belief that I remember a couple of months before my own marriage, my American trainer, he asked me, "Hey, dude, like, how did you meet your wife?" And I told him, I never met her. And I'm still getting married. And I firmly believed in this marriage because my family and her family, they met. They felt that we're compatible. They felt the family is compatible. And that's it. I was compelled to listen to my mom. I was compelled to listen to society, and this marriage happened. And I'm very lucky enough that my wife is a good human being, and this marriage happened, and it's just a peaceful thing. But what I'm trying to say is that we always confuse culture with religion, and the reason why I did it, or people do it, human beings do it, and I'm pretty sure this is something that happens in every culture. They confuse culture and religion. And it's so important that we shed light into the differences between culture and religion, because if we don't do that, we are compromising on our future generations. And I know for sure that people in my country who are not exposed to the American culture, they're still following it, they still believe it, they still think this is what God wants us to do. And if you don't do it, they look down upon us. And this is something that I want to bring light to and share with my Toastmaster buddies. And I would really thank my Toastmaster buddies, because Toastmasters provided me a platform to introduce me to different cultures, different people, different mindsets, different thoughts, different traditions. And that's how my mind got open. And I realized that what I went through was not right. Thank you so much for listening to what I had to share. Back to you, Toastmaster.